attitude, same mindset.
In this interview that Gordon Ryan did, they asked him if he thinks he's going to meet up with you. He said it's definitely a possibility. He said you guys will be on other sides of the bracket, and if you guys meet up, it would be, I think he said in the finals. He said that you were the most physical guy he's ever gone against. I mean, aren't all the guys? I didn't understand. I don't do jiu-jitsu. I don't understand that. But aren't all you guys fucking physical? What
Yeah,
does that mean?
everyone's pretty physical, but I think it's just this level of effort that I bring forth. Well, a lot of the Brazilians are really they like to take breaks during their competitions, do like the wrestling thing. And I'm all about that. I like to do it there and second. And when you have a match with me, I like to do it and realize what you can do. So yeah, I don't like to take the breaks, and if I can take the match,
The game seems to be changing. At least that's my perspective. The game seems to be changing more like what you're talking about, this reverse old school Brazilian, especially in Nogi compared to you. It just seems like the athletes are changing too.
yeah, I think it's a. I think that Americanized like attitude that style towards. I think how and really help it become more entertaining. Because if you have two you really want to win and aren't about to win, and really want to win, that's gonna kind of force us as a sport.
He also said that he's completely different from the last time he was world title. But he also said that no he's better than you either.
I think anyone knows better than me. I think that's pretty fair, with the exception of how the I've always been the guy essentially every 3.5 years. So and innovator by himself. So I'm sure he's going to do things that he's going to do. I watched the match. He's good, man. I'm a player, and in this sport, you really have to go out there and you got to be thinking.
Any chance you guys come back underneath, any chance that these teams come back underneath come back with new ways in the future? So, you guys actually monitor it all?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. I mean, it's hard to say no to training other guys down there. I mean, like Gordon's great, but John's showed us this power. Single handedly implementing the great life and all of different passions and stuff. The amount of knowledge that I have been it's impossible to
Why do you ask that, Jason?
No, I'm just curious because you have these guys that are sitting on the floor, COVID happens, a bunch of, COVID was just like this time in the world where a lot of things went down, including in the CrossFit space, that just were like, fuck, like you look back and you get out, like, but it just, there's a lot going on in general, and emotions were high and whatnot, these teams split off, where you have Nikki and actually Gordon Ryan's brother and others go off and start this, team called B Team in Austin. Then you have Gordon and John Danaher comes back to Austin and actually start a different school. It's like, wait, hang on. you guys left this place and you were like cheap or whatever. Then you guys ended up in the exact same city, opening up 2 different schools. Like, there's got to be a way for you guys to kind of come back together again. It's probably going to be good for overall jiu-jitsu and probably good for all the athletes. Like, it's good for Gordon to be rolling with Nicky, and it's good for Nicky to be rolling with Gordon. I would imagine.
I think the competitive is good for it too.
I guess it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it causes some kind of like some rivalry, which is probably good.
He was extremely respectful by the way. There was no football for it.
Yeah, no, he's pretty easy. We get all the team is going to elevate our
The reputation you're building from all of these obviously something crazy is going on. Parade of the day. So, I mean, the fact that you guys have both an off team there before, like, it is true.
Against the really good and it's like he pulls it out, man, and it's
I think he said, I don't know if it was when I interviewed him or someone interviewed him, but he said when he was at beach camp, they said, get on, we're going to put you in a rear naked choke and in the worst position over and over and over, and you're going to have to get out of it. I think he gave you guys credit for getting out of that.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I mean, honestly, what we could do for the UFC fighters is, you know, the wall wrestling, and then we could just make them so sound on the ground to where if you get on top of the guy, you're gonna drown him, and then if you're on bottom, you're getting choked. We can get you out every single time. So that's the kind of advantage we can give towards the fighters.
The Green Thumb show you were on, was that with those guys interviewing you? Is that
Cypress Hill and Be Real.
That is Cypress Hill?
Yeah, so a few of the guys from Cypress Hill, and then Be Real was supposed to be on there as well, but he was like he was on tour with Slipknot at the time, so I didn't get a chance to meet him. But he's got an awesome crew, man. Really nice environment, I would say.
Yeah, I can't even believe Cypress Hill is still alive. I mean, that's who I used to listen to when I was a fucking
What
kid.
a throwback, man. I can't believe
Yeah.
it. And Slipknot, too. I haven't heard that name in forever.
It's a massive YouTube account. It's a massive podcast.
Yeah. I was pretty happy they had me on there. It was cool. Inside their building, they had like this old school car, all candy painted out. It was pretty sick, man. It was a nice spot.
I was surprised that you smoked weed.
Yeah. I mean, they asked me.
I would just think you'd be like, I'm putting that shit in my lungs. Especially when I hear you talk about putting pressure on people.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think a little marijuana is not bad. You know, it's probably better than alcohol.
And when you say a little, like, so you wouldn't sit down and just smoke. You don't smoke a whole joint. You don't get to a point where you're coughing or like, oh fuck, I burned my lungs.
Dude, if I'm being honest, I usually smoke before training. That's like my
right, and that's it.
Yeah, usually, like, I mean, I work out a few times a day, but if I am gonna smoke it, I'm gonna do it probably before training. For me, it makes it a bit more fun, and I used to have this problem where like I would try too hard, like it would set me back. Like my level of effort would be.
I've seen that happen to Jason in a stadium before.
Oh boy!
In front of 50,000 people. Sorry, Nikki, I couldn't resist.
No, it's all good. All good. For me, it's about like jiu-jitsu is about being cognitively clear and then also pacing yourself. Competing in a pace that you can keep for an extended period of time. So like, I was brought up with a wrestling mentality that try harder and that's better. And in some situations, yeah, but like I said earlier, knowledge is king, and the more you know, the more you'll be able to grow.
Nikki, so let me ask you this question. So if you go and you smoke before practice or whatever it is, if you have multiple training sessions, are you only doing it if you get before one, or do you just like kind of do it before multiple sessions a day?
Um, yeah, I probably do it before multiple sessions, but not all the time. I mean, like, I don't know. It just makes it more fun. Like if I'm like groggy, like some people do caffeine, some people take pre-workout and shit like that. I mean, I drink some water, some Gatorade, and a couple hits from the day, and I'm usually good to go for a long time.
The
I
only
would
reason
freak
why
out if I couldn't drink coffee before a podcast.
Oh.
I'm 600 podcasting, and if I didn't drink coffee, I'd fucking freak.
If I do
I
coffee,
feel you.
if I do coffee, it's usually after training. 'Cause I have like a crash after training, so coffee will pick me back up and I'm on a level for the second workout.
I like the coffee and the cold plunge. But the reason why I ask is because as you're getting prepared for ADCC, I'm just curious. Like, dude, you're gonna go smoke before your tournament at ADCC, like because if you're practicing that way, like typically, like people always talk about, oh, this is my game day nutrition. It's like, well, dude, if your game day nutrition is peanut butter and honey, well, then why weren't you training that ahead of time to see how your stomach reacting to it? And I'm curious, like, if you're training that way leading up to it, why wouldn't you do that when you're there too?
Does it smell like weed at ADCC? Like,
I mean, I'll smell it for sure. Yeah, I mean, the culture
for
and yeah, so actually, for sure, I smoked the day before the started.
No way.
Yeah, so most people smoke there pretty positive. I smoke, I want to smoke. So just makes it part of my life.
there are those things that motivation knows it too. You have to do it. Always those guys that walk by and just see what the fuck they smell like a
Oh yeah. Especially with gear on, man, because you see the gear in the car, it's gonna smell like weed for sure. The real question is, well, I saw some of the questions coming in on the comment section, but the real question is, when's the bond getting introduced to? I mean, this guy, you talk about it like you love it. You gotta get you in the match, Savon.
I'm so afraid that I'm the fucking keep my back out there. It's gonna be okay.
No, you're gonna be good, man. You gotta find the right training partner, someone who's really good, and I see a little concept coming out of really taking through for a while. Come out there and roll over like.
Yeah, I think it's good to know how to handle it.
Not since high school. Well, I just slapped my kid around the other day.
There you go.
Like now and then.
If you get 6 months or 2
I'm 50.
Well, you don't look a day over 40. You look good.
What's the oldest guy in the gym, Nikki?
I mean, yeah, people that wanted to be probably like.
He looks like he's 64.
TK has you'll know
And I'm just joking. God, that guy looks more like James Taylor. He looks more like
He looks small. He looks next to the odd, and he's fucking massive. Like, there's a video of us doing jiu-jitsu together, or I don't know, I'm sure there's people he's huge. I mean, but Nicky, that's just you out angled him for sure on that one.
yeah, it's by the angles for sure.
Yeah.
Hey Nikki, what is that like with people who train at both gyms? They train over at Dan Hare's gym. Someone like him. Like I see content from him coming out of both camps.
Yeah, I mean, it's no problem. I'm not like holding any grudges. I don't like care if people train here and there. I came up cross training. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I was training at multiple different gyms. So I think you gotta go with a if you're trying to seek out that
show on Friday morning, Daring Weeks, and then Daring Weeks after welterweight UFC 171. And he told me before fights he does 3 weeks of edging. You know edging?
Is that like?
Yeah, 3 weeks of edging.
That sounds kind of good.
That's what they call it? Why is it?
That sounds like how you don't get prostate cancer.
Yeah. Wow.
That sounds good.
Hey, and I just saw another study that if you go 7 days without ejaculation, testosterone, but that it drops down the next day.
I have muscle maturity and peak testosterone and shit like that. So I think 35, I'll probably be hitting my peak stride, and then hopefully own a bunch of businesses and stuff. I have like part owner of B team. I have some other stuff going on as well. Yeah, I mean, in jits, it's not enough to just to be an athlete. You have to be a bit of an entrepreneur if you really want to.
Do you consider Jason big?
Yeah, Jason's a big boy. Yeah,
he is.
I mean, Jason, what's your biggest size during competition? Were you like 205, 210?
Yeah, I was like, when I was competing in CrossFit, it was like 210 was like my go-to. And when I tried to get lower, I felt weaker. When I tried to go heavier, I couldn't do all the gymnastics. So I like that 208, 210, which I weigh. So interestingly enough, right now I weigh like 212. I'm competing at 222 with the gi on. I don't have to worry about weight. I don't have to like stress out about that because I'm not good at cutting weight because I never did it professionally. So on Friday, that's what I'm competing at. But yeah, man, I tried to go. I'm debating about trying to see 199 on the screen. I haven't seen below 200 on a weight scale since probably 8th grade, I think. Yeah, I was a big kid, and so I'm debating. This is an idea I have, which is, dude, I've gotten down like 201 for the distance a little bit ago, but I've never seen under 200. I'm thinking about doing that, maybe the road invitational. That's at the end of October, just for the hell of it, and see if I can get below 200 for the first time. Oh, bro, I mean, because right now I'm okay, but I think 200, I think I'd be pretty shredded, yeah. That's why I want to do it. I want to see, how shredded could I get? session, I'll add in some type of sugars. I particularly love like peanut butter and honey. I think it's a great energy spike, and a little bit more consistent energy with a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein in there. So yeah, in general, it depends on how long the duration of the session is. Like if you're doing like an hour or 2 hour long just straight cardio, yeah, you'd want to probably have something a little bit. Or if you're training, you want to like find that depletion stage and like getting less. That's also not bad. It's just if you're trying to train for performance, you want to feel up at some point. In particular, when you're strength training, like if I'm doing like a training session, I'll maybe have a little snack, and then I broke up my training days into 3 sessions. So even today, for example, I was in the garage, I worked out with my kids, that's what I do at 6 a.m., and then I'm going to go train with some other groups, and then I'll probably maybe do jiu-jitsu later on. So I have meals throughout the day, it's training for performance. I want to see, hey, how does the food make me feel? And it's not so much about getting lean, that just becomes a byproduct of all the training. Typically, this is in my opinion, what I think works really well, which is you wake up in the morning and do some type of like fasted, like longer duration cardio. Like let's just call it 30, 40 minutes on the spin bike, 30, 40 minutes on the salt bike, running, whatever. Like kind of like just long, slow distance cardio. And then midday, I would typically do like a 2 hour CrossFit session. That would be like couplets, triplets, heavy lifting, stuff like that in the middle of the day, where I'm like awake, I feel good, I've already had something to eat. I don't like lifting heavy in the mornings. I need my body to start feeling primed and ready. I find that when I lift it in the mornings, it just wouldn't help me perform well. So in the morning, more longer cardio, because that's pretty easy to do right out of bed, like I did this morning. Then later on in the day, get into some like traditional CrossFit, right? That would be like, you know, a 20-minute session, chill for a minute, get in a heavy lifting session, chill for a minute, hit in maybe like a 7-minute, and hit different time domains where you're hitting anaerobic, aerobic, 5-minute burst to maybe 20-minute burst in the middle of the day. And then in the evening, that's where I would go for stamina building. So evening stamina building sessions were traditionally EMOMs. And what I like about them is, let's just take I wanted to build up my lat stamina, right? I would do an EMOM of 10 strict pull-ups every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. Or I wanted to build up my shoulder stamina. I would do 10 strict push-ups, handstand push-ups every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. Or I would get in 500 air squats to develop my leg stamina. So it would go like morning cardio, afternoon was like my real session, and then evening was just my ability to develop some type of stamina in some gymnastics movement that maybe I was struggling with.
Oh, wow.
And when's the last time you did something like that, Jason? Years? You ever done, when's the last time you did a 3-a-day?
So well, it's tough to say. Like right now, my current training protocol, like right this minute, is I do jiu-jitsu every day, and I also take our class pretty much every day. So right now, and dude, jits, like it beats me up, especially right now, man. I'm going hard with guys, getting ready for this competition on Friday. But then starting September 5th, like on Monday or whatever, I'm going to be all in getting ready for the Rogue Invitational. Not even because like I'm like competing in the pro division, I'm competing in the Legends division, which will be fun. It's more so just like
I heard you took it really serious last year. I heard like of all the people there, you were fucking like the most serious. You were like, "Fuck, we're winning this."
Dude, I took it really seriously the first year.
Awesome. Sure.
It just gives me something to train for, right? So I'm gonna be putting in the work. So I'll probably be doing like 2 days. I also want to see like Nikki brought up a good point. Like I'm 36, right? I started doing CrossFit when I was like 20. Or 20, yeah. And I thought that I was peaking. I actually think I have like man strength now, or whatever you want to call it, old man strength. And I want to see like what I'm capable of, So I'm gonna pivot my goals from jiu-jitsu right now to pivoting to seeing when I get teenager, seeing when I get snatch, seeing if I can get some others. Maybe even do the open. I don't know. I want to have something to kind of stop me right now. I'm feeling inspired and ready to rock. At that one, it's not that much different than how we are right now. Yeah. But when you saw me, I came off 40 days of eating just meat and some food. I was pretty jacked out. clarity was really good. Performance probably suffered a little bit. But because I had the carbohydrates in the food, it wasn't as bad. It just, what I did in my body to eventually learn how to do is use fat as a fuel. And so I do think there's some benefits for athletes to get in a ketosis, like look for like a ketogenic diet and try it for a while. And then beginning to feel like shit. And then afterwards, you then start to be able to transfer and utilize these fats as fuel, which I think actually could benefit. So I was also wearing a continuous glucose monitor. I was doing like a whole bunch of analysis. It just wasn't sustainable for my lifestyle. Like I'd be going out to eat with my family, and I'd be that guy who's like, hey, I'll just take a steak, and like, I don't know, it's like, you know, it's like a birthday, and not having a moment and like, shit. That's not something I want to do.
Nikki, what your wife considers Mormons call it pluralism.
That sounds like a championship lifestyle.
Harem, this in former times, the Muslim household, reserved for wives, concubines.
So survival.
Yeah.
Hey, just for the record, I'm looking at these comments. Just for the record, I have not committed to competing in any Masters competition. I'm just doing the rotational. And yes, it's pretty funny.
Versus Rich.
Hey, this is like this is funny. Jason's taking it all seriously, but everyone else on fun. He's still gonna get beat by Rich. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny. But no, yeah.
So what do you think the difference between a guy like that and like your CrossFit competitor?
I mean, Rich in particular, I spent a lot of time with him because him and I competed on Team USA for CrossFit when they had it. We competed on it 3 years in a row together. So we would train a lot together in preparation for that competition. And we still on a podium a few times there as well. So I'd say the difference maker was, his dedication to the craft, his dedication to the sport. What I'd say is twofold. Number one is showing up on game day, which I'm sure you've seen. There's plenty of guys that are going on the mats and they can't perform. And number two is literally just his relentless pursuit, man. All day, every day. I thought I trained hard to go there and just like just in his barn or in his basement, like literally all day, every day. And so I think there's a combination of those things, like the dedication to be able to perform, to be very athletic and play, and then his God-given talent. He also had a lot of faith in it, which I think drove him, right? He believes that God gave him a gift and he wants to go express it, and I think things like that help him perform. So yeah, it's his mental toughness and it's his grit and it's his consistency. The GOAT? Well, Kia Toomey, talking about. So if you want, he had 6 straight wins. Before that, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 seconds. He's also an Olympian in Olympic weightlifting. For dudes individually, overall in the sport, I think that because he has more championships than anybody else from individual and team. He's just been dominant for decades. But individual for just non-team, and he Matt, because Matt has 5 and first places and just has 4. And I think that's I'm dancing. It's not as easy of a question. You can also make the argument Rick and Matt only competed against each other once, and Rick won. But you can also then say, well, Matt went on to win 5 first places. So it's like, I don't know, man. I know I'm watching because both of you guys are incredible. So, sorry, I'm not that controversial today.
Nikki, let's say you're training. So where does innovation come from? Let's say you're training twice, and you're going to this is more than right here. Where does innovation come from? Does it come with
learn a little bit too much, too close to competition, it can kind of. But if you're close to competing, you're really not going to learn anything that's going to change you that much. So for sure, like in between comps, if you have a few months to, because for me, it doesn't. Very rarely can I learn a move and then do it on a world class athlete immediately. Like usually it takes a few weeks, few months for me to really ingrain that, because it's not just about the move. It's about, all right, you have to learn a setup for it. Now you have to learn multiple setups. All right, now what happens if you fail this move? Now what's the sequence to escape if once you fail the move? So there's a lot of things that kind of intertwine when you're trying to learn.
You know how Gordon did that thing where like he hands the envelope like to the judges, and then like they open it up and he submitted the guy with the triangle and he calls advance. Have you thought about doing that to him when you come across him, like just to fuck with them?
That would be fun.
And then they open the envelope and it's just one guy standing behind another guy railing him.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe you can do that to your friends, but I don't know. I'm more when I compete, I take it pretty seriously. I feel like when I'm on the mat and I'm competing, I feel these guys trying to kill me. So I kind of treat it that way.
Yeah. I remember I remember asking you if in the last time you were on, if you take it easy on people, like you start to submit them and you feel like it's gonna be something bad's gonna happen, you stop and you're like, no, it's tear the limbs off.
Yeah, the thing is, man, like if you're in a submission, like say somebody's got you in a submission competition, they're gonna try to break you. Like very rarely is the guy gonna get an armbar and like wait for you to tap. Like usually he's going to try to break your arm. So you can't be nice to your opponents. They know what they're signing up for. And as bad as it sounds, some guys will take a break and they won't even tap. So you can break somebody's arm and they don't tap and they're still in the fight. So you really can't have sympathy. There's no mercy for the enemy when you're competing.
Will your mom and dad go to ADCC?
Yes, yeah, they'll be there for sure.
Wow.
Hey, Nikki, what did you think about Gordon's, so with Penna, like, was it just me, or was that like the weirdest fight of all time, given everything that was going on? I know there was a lot of emotions and but like, was it just weird? Because he actually seemed like he was doing pretty good. It seemed like, I thought it was I know Gordon said he wasn't ramping it up yet, but I thought it was like, it seemed to me like it was a pretty good match. And then all of a sudden it just like ended. I mean, was it just weird to you too?
Yeah, it's an endurance game, man. And like, there's a bit of a psychological thing that goes on, like if you feel your opponent like kind of gaining momentum, it takes like some momentum away from your mentality. So like the guy didn't tap because he got a submission. He quit because he got exhausted. Like he was tired. He felt like he couldn't gain an edge, and Penna quit. I mean, and if I had to guess, I mean, actually somebody asked me what I think was going to happen in the match, and I said pretty much what happened. I was like, I think Gordon's going to get on top of this guy and wear him out until he mentally breaks. I don't think Gordon was.
I think he got a phone call. You got to swipe. He'll swipe up and be back. You got a text.
All right, boom, we're good. All right, sorry, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Gordon, I think his goal was to just make him quit, because I think he could sub Penna. Maybe he can pull to a leg. He can kind of get inside him if he wanted to. But I think it's almost a better win. Like it makes Penna look worse that he tapped because he mentally broke, as opposed to a real submission. Like that's worse. Like you just quit and there was no physical threat. There's no physical harm going on. You're just on bottom and you're giving up. I think that's probably the best way you could ever win. Like if you just make an opponent. Like imagine you're at the CrossFit Games and you're a few steps ahead of this guy that's behind you, and he sees you just killing it. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. Like I can't compete." That's pretty fucking impressive,
Yeah. I had one moment like that at one event one time. But anyways.
Hey, how about when Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz were fighting, and you saw that in their last fight? I'd never seen that in a UFC fight. Nick Diaz was just like, "I'm good," and no one judged him for it. But do you remember that? He's kind of dropped. He's like, and Robbie Lawler's like, they just called the fight.
Bro, fighting's taking punches to the brain is a different thing, man. Like, you're endangering your life out there. I think if your body knows like I shouldn't be in there taking banging with these dudes, I think then you shouldn't be in there. Like a fight is not something you should take like on like 60%. Like you kind of have a little bit of a cannon. You have to be all in if you're gonna hop in the cage.
Is there? Are you interested in dabbling in that at all, it sounds like you're more like ready to be a businessman in 10 years than a fucking charity.
Yeah, I'd much rather quit. I think
kids? Are you gonna have kids? That's fucking brilliant.
I think that's the most fun for me. I don't have any grappling style for if you look at it, the best phenomenal wrestler. So where they have striking already. I mean, I've struck. I'm like, possible about one sport. You can think about so much. I couldn't understand the amount of time I think that I'm already prepared. So I'm really interested in that.
Mickey, I gotta ask you a question. What do you think is the future of jiu-jitsu in terms of the duration and the type of match? Because when you go to these non-ending matches, it's like, come on. And when you go for like an hour, it's a long time too. Like, at some point, it's all about the spectators. It's all about how many people can we get to come and engage. So ADCC is 15 minutes. When the finals are 40 minutes. Think that's the optimal duration? So what do you think is the optimal duration for work this?
So you'd be in there in the finals just like go 40 minutes.
That's a long ass time, right, Trevon? Dude, and what people don't realize about jiu-jitsu is that hopefully athletes are waking up to, and I think about this all the time, working with athletes here in jiu-jitsu, is it's an endurance event. Like, dude, not only are you going one time 50 minutes, you're then resting, recovering, and going again in the same day. Sometimes 2, maybe even 3 times in that day. I mean, it's a lot. It's like the CrossFit Games. It's like an event. Anyway.
It's hard because, like, if you look at wrestling, right? Wrestling has one specific amount of time that you're going to compete for. So I think it makes it much harder to prepare for an event, like similar to CrossFit, where you don't know exactly how long you're going to be out there for. So it makes it tough. I do think if there was a standard time, like, all right, 10-minute matches, 15-minute matches, I think if there was a standard time that was throughout the event and through to the final, I think it'd make it much better for the spectators.